talking about art today, boys.
So about a few months ago, I had a very good conversation with my friend Nico, which I'll send him this video later. But in that conversation, we were talking about sports and art, two of the probably biggest industries out there, right? Now, the reason we were talking about it is because we both said, in a way, they're completely different things, and they're both equally as beautiful. The reason I said that was because art and sports have two very common things. A lot of people pay attention to them, and a lot of people put time and effort into them. And in that, I see beauty in the fact that regardless of whatever you like, whatever sport you may like, regardless of whatever it is, right? People come together, and regardless, right, join together. They don't know each other. A lot of people don't know each other. They go together, they enjoy the same thing, and then together people form friendships from music and sports. People, gain partners. It is a worldwide thing, and people will go around, they meet new people, they join friend groups. It's genuinely the most beautiful thing ever. We were talking about art beforehand, which was the idea of art isn't bad. A lot of art isn't actually terrible, but the bar has been set so low to when it once was, that terrible art gets recognized as good art. Like the sand, that sand tower. I'll put a clip. But in that, there could be way better pieces. See, my idea of seeing that sand tower fall was kind of like, I think is wise is the man who built his house upon a stone, right? Why not, if that's what it was going for, why not build just a sand castle or a house or something, right? But other than that, I'm getting off track. These things both unite people, and in that, people form rivalries, people are against each other, people may fight each other over it, but in the broader scope, right? And I'm specifically talking about the World Cup here. The World Cup is a worldwide event. 4 billion people, billions of people watch this event every 4 years. It is the biggest sports event, quite literally ever, no debate, nothing, all right? The beauty about the World Cup and international sport is that people who don't know each other genuinely can come together, be like, yeah, what do you like about this? What do you like that? And even then, they can talk about teams they dislike. Even people who don't like each other's teams, they'll be like, oh yeah, why do you like this team? Why do you like this team? Why is Mexico going to win the World Cup 2026? I don't know. But what I mean by that is the beauty in sports and in art is that they can bring people together flawlessly. And whether it's done correctly or not, I know people who have the same music taste as me, and I don't like them, but shit, I can relate to them, right? And so what I mean is, when things like art and sports and stuff, especially because the Knicks won, I saw that, I was like, damn, they won. But other than that, I think a lot of art and a lot of sports nowadays are kind of taken into the art and music and stuff like that is over processed. It's just so much of it, none of it's relatable anymore. See, to really stand out, you have to be relatable, you have to be popular, you have to basically check a bunch of boxes to get an audience. Or you can just get dumb lucky and blow up on TikTok. With sports, on the other hand, they're things that sports have been around for decades, centuries maybe. The reason I'm saying that is because the oversaturation in music and art have never been more obvious than now, especially with AI art. The reason I'm so glad sports are still human is because you can't replicate that hype. You can't replicate, thousands of people or millions of people screaming, Lamine Yamal's name, like hype. You know what I'm saying? Or Mbappe or Messi or Ronaldo or Zlatan or Haaland, right? You can't replicate that. A computer, AI can't replicate that. That's what makes sports good. The reason I'm kind of mad about, I'm not mad, well, yeah, I'm mad about it. AI is kind of ruined and definitely destroyed the gap that music once had. Because you had, you always had top music, you always had, standard, radio music, whatever gets played, it doesn't matter. And then you had the biggest gap of them all. You had amateur level, and then you had popular terrible music, which was some of the best. Now it's just full of AI stuff. Now the reason I'm saying it is because music was one of the things that everybody wanted to get. It was never as easy to get into music as it was. I'm pretty sure in like 20, I want to say 14 to 19, it was the easiest thing to get into. Everybody was doing music. Hell, in middle school, people were dropping mixtapes. The reason I'm saying that is because the gap has, or the entry level for music has gotten so low. You could record it on your phone, you can do anything. And in that comes the oversaturation, specifically rap. Rap has always been something like, rap has always been popular, and it's always been one of those genres that kind of just there. The oversaturation for it now is just gangs, violence, whatever, women. And in that, we were talking about it, and we were like, it's not terrible music. A lot of rap songs are good, but too many people are doing it now. And, I like rap. Hell, Drake's album was terrible. Kendrick, I don't listen to him that much, but I still fuck with Drake songs. I still fuck with Kendrick songs. Fuck, what's his name? Rod Wave had some good songs. Roddy Ricch, but he's washed. The reason I say that is because it sucks to see such a good genre go under when it's too popular, everybody wants to do it. Bands are gone. There's no bands. The only one I can think of is like Violent Vera and probably Avenged Sevenfold, which are the two I keep up with as of now, and 3 Days Grace. But other than that, I don't see that many bands going, crazy in numbers. And even then, it's still an uphill battle to find some new ones. Like Grimmskunk, that's probably the only underground band I've heard of in a minute, right? Or it's a punk band. But the reason I say this is because an oversaturation of quite literally everything, and entry level so low that anybody can get into, anybody can blow up, especially with TikTok. I completely forgot about that just now. TikTok and getting into music has never been so easy, and has never been worse for the scene ever. Because you have your bangers, you have your standard TikTok bangers, your stuff. A bunch of it's every day there's somebody dropping a song, right? And every day they go under. What I mean by that is, everybody, there's I think it's a couple million songs dropping on the daily. There's a couple million songs being dropped. And out of all those millions of songs, you'll ever hear maybe one if you're lucky. Or maybe it'll blow up, but it's on TikTok. The oversaturation of music and rap and just music and art itself has been so apparent in the past, I think, 7 or 8 years, that it's just not enjoyable to go and listen to anything new. People are stuck on the old because the new stuff is it's oversaturated. You've heard rappers talk about drugs, money, women, cars, mansions. You've heard it all. You can play a Drake song and be like, oh, what's he going to talk about? His ops, his money, his mansions, his cars, his women. There's no point in it used to be, talking, it used to be storytelling, it used to be gripping. Now it's just slop. And one of my craziest takes is Juice WRLD was quite literally the last, what literally would have been, not the last. Juice WRLD would have been up there with Michael Jackson. I'm not saying his music would have been, up there with Michael Jackson. But to sit there and say that Juice WRLD didn't have that popularity, that pull, and that relatability, right? When those emo raps, say it as it is, right? He could have been up there with Michael Jackson in fame and popularity, all right? Simply put, he had that. X also had that. I'm talking about music now. X had that. He had that spark. He was going in that direction. And sadly, they both passed away. The reason I say this is because they both offered something different and new. X, when Look at Me dropped, I was in middle school. It was the hottest thing ever. When I Hope dropped and Jocelyn Flores dropped, it literally changed genres for me. I was listening to a whole modicum of different genres, listening to more music. It was genuinely like a gateway into more music. That's what I liked about X. He genuinely would just throw a different genre out there. I would explore more genres. I would listen to more music. And genuinely, that's what makes, for me, a great artist. Someone who can switch genres, not just from rap or club music. Genuinely switching genres and giving, more, he's what was different. Juice WRLD, when All Girls Are the Same dropped, there wasn't a day in middle school that I did not listen to that song. Because everybody was playing it. It was that good of a song. And in that, Juice WRLD had that pull. He had the idea of, he basically rapped every day. His job, his soul, his life was put into every record he made, every song. And what I say by that is, this man was in the studio daily. If he didn't have a drug problem, if this man was still here, I'm telling you right now, he would have banger. He still has banger after banger after banger after banger after banger, right? His albums would have been charting. There's still, I believe, 2 or 3 more albums of his music left. This man has been dead since, I think, 2018, 2019. If he did not die, right, or if he did not, pass away, sadly, right, he would have had, and I'm saying this right now, one of the biggest careers in rap. X and Juice WRLD are the 2 biggest losses in rap. And what I mean by that is, they genuinely gave something different at the time that they dropped. They were genuinely like, for me, X was a gateway into other genres. And Juice WRLD was also he was branching out to other genres. They genuinely had that pull, that effect of, yeah, you like rap, well, listen to a different genre I made and explore that genre. They were there, And now it's not there's no new rappers that are making anything crazy or relatable like that. It's just either, the same rap, like I just said, the same rap, the same things as everybody else. It's oversaturated.